Hello everyone, welcome back to another four-person free-for-all battle for Warhammer 2. We are facing off against the Dark Elves, the Wood Elves, and the High Elves. I am bringing the Skaven Horde. A lot of elf representation here for this battle. So I wanted to try and run a Skaven elite army because I usually just stick with the Horde armies, bringing a lot of Skaven slaves and very cheap units and trying to overwhelm people with a few kind of key units in the background, like usually Poison Wind Globadiers, Rat Ogres, those types of thing. Well, not in this one. I wanted to try an elite version. So here we have the front line with two Storm Vermin with swords and shields. This is the first time I believe I'm running the Storm Vermin sword and shield variants. They are, I believe, the tankiest Skaven unit in their roster in terms of infantry. I think they're tankier than the Halberd version. Yeah. So usually like Halberd versions are pretty tanky in terms of melee defense, but the sword and shield version is actually tankier than they are. So that's cool. I still think they're kind of expensive for what you get from them. They're just I don't know. For the price, I don't think they're super amazing. But again, I wanted to try them out. So here we are. We have two of them, one on each flank, and then the middle of the line is going to be made of two Plague Monk Censer Bearers, the elite of the elite infantry for the Skaven with the high armor piercing, and then the discouraging magical attacks. I think they're a really good unit, even though they cost a lot of money. The second line here is going to be made up of two Rat Ogres, one on each flank, and then two of the Death Globe Bombardiers. Now, I have not run these units because they are very expensive, but they do have an insane amount of armor piercing missile damage, but only a few precious rounds. So this is not really a unit that you can just kind of sit up there and have them attack whatever. You really need to make sure that you micromanage these units to use their ammunition against very high armored key targets. If not, then you're kind of wasting a lot of money because they're super expensive. But I brought two of those as well with their insane armor piercing damage. Just insane. I still think the Poison Globadiers are still kind of just better because they have the anti-large as well. But still, these are no joke. You should fear these units if you see them on the battlefield. And then the backline is made up of three Storm Vermin of the Halberd variety to try and protect our back, and especially our Death Globe Bombardiers from any kind of rear charges from Cav or anything else that comes at us. In the middle here, we have our leadership is going to be a generic warlord mounted on a Rat Ogre, a pretty good, cheap leader for the Skaven army. I like them. I wanted to bring them. That's it. I just think they're cool. And then for the caster, we have a Plague Priest on top of their mount, and I brought the two spells, Vermintide and also Pestilent Breath. The mount itself gives this unit a Pestilent Breath as well, but this one can't really be aimed. It's the one that you can only aim around the chariot itself. So we have a lot of Pestilent Breath, and we still have some, basic rats that we can summon with the Vermintide if I need it. But on top of that, on a mount, this Plague Priest is a pretty good chariot unit, and they are a lot tankier when you put the casters on a mount, so they can survive in battle a lot longer than, well, if they are not on a mount. So that is the main part of my army. Then over here for our artillery, because they are considered artillery pieces, it's two Doom Wheels, because Doom Wheels are awesome. One of the best units, I think, in the game now. I love the Doom Wheels. The fact that they just have, how much ammunition do they have? 52 shots of these Zat cannons that do pretty good damage, and they're a really good chariot. They're really fast, pretty tanky. The Doom Wheels are great. So I brought two of them because I didn't want to sit in a one position and have to protect a bunch of artillery pieces like the catapults and the... What's the other one? Like the laser gun one. How do I not remember the name? Anyway, so we're going to have a mobile army here, but an elite army, no Skaven slaves or anything like that. For the High Elf player, who we are going to be matching up in against first, we have a front line here of 4 Lothern Sea Guard. Back here, or in the middle, we have an Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower. It's their one artillery piece being guarded by a High Elf Noble on a horse, which I do enjoy Noble. I love the Nobles. I think they're really cool. Then behind those, we have the main infantry line of 4 White Lions and then 1 Phoenix Guard, one of the best infantry units in the game. They are just good at killing anything you want them to. They are really good. Phoenix Guard is insane, but they are also very expensive, but worth the price. And then over here, we have a large group of Dragon Princes, 4 of them being led by Teclis, who I believe took all the spells and gadgets and gizmos that is available to him. I think Teclis is a really good legendary lord, a really good caster lord. I think Teclis is great. Tyrion's great, Teclis is great. Really, like, the High Elf roster, like, across the board, I think is just really good. There's really not many units. There's one unit, the Archer with the armored version, that comes with 40 armor instead of 15. Like, that's the one unit that I'm like, did you really need that one? It's still kind of cool, but Besides that, though, like the roster for the High Elves are just like top notch. I think they did a really good job with the High Elves. But anyway, that's the High Elf army that we're going to be facing off against first. For the Wood Elf army, we have a total of 5 Deepwood Scouts with Swift Shiver Shards. These are very high damage dealing, not really armor piercing focused, but still very high damage dealing arrow units or archer units of the Wood Elves. They can't be Vanguard deployed, such as these two here. And then we have 2 more Vanguard deployed over here in the center of the map. That's also looking at a bunch of Vanguard deployed Dark Riders with repeater crossbows. We'll get into that here in a moment. So there's 2 of them there, 2 of them back there, and then there's 1 deployed way back here. And that's a Wild Rider. Sorry, I thought that was a Deepwood. Oh, there's a Deepwood Scout. Okay, so there's the 5th one. Back there we have a Deepwood, or some Wild Riders, sorry. And then over here, the Wood Elf kind of just spread out all over the place and wanted to make sure that all their forces were hidden in a forest at the start of the battle. So that's why you see them all kind of bunched up here. So in total, the infantry over here, we have 2 Eternal Guards, 1 here, 1 over there. We have 3 War Dancers, 2 with the dual-wielding weapons, 1 right here, 1 right there, and then a spear version. We have 2 Treekin, 1 here, 1 over there, and then we have 2 Glade Guard, 1 with Starfire Shaft, 1 with Hagbang Tips over there. We also have a Wildwood Ranger sitting there in the middle. For leadership, we have a Spellslinger of Life with, I think, all of the spells and the Power Stone for Winds of Magic reserves and all that. And then we have Orion, which has been changed just a little bit. So what was really cool about Orion and why I always brought him is because his 2 abilities that he has used to not have limits on them. So now the Hounds of Orion and the Hawk's Talons are both only 3 casts in total. Before, you could cast these whenever they were up. And so Orion was a very good lord to kind of harass the enemy with because he's pretty fast. And with those spells, he can do a lot of damage before your army even meets the enemy army. And I really like that. Now, you still get a lot of use out of those abilities, but now only 3, so it is a little limiting. But on top of that, also his regeneration item has been changed. I believe it used to be 10%. It was where the regeneration and damage reduction would have procced, I think is what it was. And now it's up to 20% of health remaining, so that's pretty good. So that is the Wood Elf army. And then the Dark Elf army, we saw a lot of it over here. They took a lot of range. There are 5 of the Dark Riders with repeater crossbows, very mobile, very deadly crossbow cav of the Dark Elves here. So we got 5 of those that are going to be duking it out with the Deepwood Scouts. But as you can see, the Deepwood Scouts with their high missile damage and the Dark Riders with their very low armor, well... then over here, we have the main line of the Dark Elf forces. We have 3 Black Ark Corsairs, the anti-infantry, high-armored units of the Dark Elves. I'm sure I'm speaking. We have 2 Black Guards of Nagarond, and then 1 Harganeth Executioner. Then behind those, we have 5 additional Dark Shards, but these are just going to be the infantry variant and not the ones riding on the nifty little horses. For the leadership, we have Malekith, the Dark... Is he named Malekith the Dark Omen? Whatever. Malekith on a dragon with, I believe, all of his spells, I think they took, and some of his abilities with the Gaze of Malice, which is great. Malekith on a dragon is a very scary unit to face in battle. You should really fear him. And then for the caster over here, we have a Sorceress of Shadow with just the Pendulum spell. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I guess their idea is the Pendulum would do a lot of work. The thing is, like, when you take Malekith, I never really feel the need to take another caster, but I've always been that way. Whenever I have a single caster, be it a lord or a hero, I typically don't take a second one. So it's always kind of confusing me when I see double casters. It's totally fine. People run those types of armies all the time. Anyway, to finish off their army, we have 2 of the Reaper Bolt throwers, 1 right here and then 1 back there. And that is the army composition of this battle. Let's go. So, when I was when deploying on this map, I was like, I knew the High Elf was deploying over here, and I wanted to try and hit the High Elf first, because I believe my army is pretty good at destroying them. The High Elves are known for very high armor, especially with their infantry forces, and since I have 2 of the Deathglow Bombardiers, we have answers to their high armored melee force. We also have the 2 Plague Monk Sister Bears, we have 2 Rat Ogres, we have a Warlord, we have a lot of anti-armor in our army. So I saw this little I don't know what you want to call it, plateau, but this little area, which the only way in is here and here. So I was like, you know what? Let's get up here and try and threaten the High Elves' left flank. You can see that they are going to be pushing up the hill right here to try and get into range of the Wood Elves, who have already destroyed some of the Dark Rider Cav over there. As their archers also took a lot of damage from the insane amount of ranged units that the Dark Elves have. The infantry battle is actually going to be taking place in these woods, supported by the Deepwood Scouts here, and the Dark Shards over here, and the crossbows of the Cav over there as well. I am going to be hitting to the High Elf's flank. You can see that they wanted to try and get up on this hill, but I'm going to be running my 2 Doom Wheels over here to try and stop these Loth and Seaguar from doing anything. I imagine they wanted to get this high ground and start firing into here, but that's why I put the Doom Wheels over there. The Dragon Princes, they may have thought to go try and get into our back end, but we put our Storm Vermin here right there, and the enemy saw that, so they're actually going to run their Dragon Princes all the way around and deal with the Dark Elves and the Wood Elves. Now here we go, the Plague Monk Citrus Bears and the tanky Storm Vermin are going to be getting into combat with these Loth and Seaguard who are not moved away from the front line. So we're going to do a lot of good damage to them over there. Back in here, the Doom Wheels are doing what they do. They are destroying any kind of infantry-based unit. They're doing a really good job at it, so they're just going to kind of be ping-ponging back and forth, trying to dodge around these Phoenix Guard because we do not want to get engaged with them. Here comes the Death Globadiers. The damage that these guys do is insane. Techless, who is right here right now, is going to do a lot of good damage to our Storm Vermin there. He's going to park himself up here in this forest and start casting some more spells on our army to try and, well, tip the scales of favor into the High Elf favor. Right now, we are just plowing through the High Elf's front line with all these white lions getting overwhelmed by the Chariot, by the Death Globadiers, the armor-piercing Plague Monk Citrus Bears, the Warlord. Like, we are just taking it to these white lions. They do not have what it takes to win this fight by themselves, and our 2 Doom Wheels are back here destroying most of their ranged units. You can see we just, well, this unit was destroyed by infantry, but we are still trying to keep these Loth and Seaguar busy, trying to kill the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower so it can't do anything. We are pulling up our Storm Vermin again, still trying to protect the backside of our Death Glow Bombardiers, and we are just overrunning the High Elf. The Phoenix Guard kind of getting into the battle late. We're going to try and get into a flank position, start throwing some more Globadier bombs into the Phoenix Guard as we chase some of these High Elf units off the map. Now the High Elf looks like it's almost dead, but they still do have the 4 Dragon Princes down here, which have helped to rout the Wild Riders of the Wood Elves, and now they're going to try and threaten the Dark Riders of the Dark Elves, and then go down here into the Wood Elves. They're just going to kind of be going back and forth between the 2 other Elf players. Speaking of the Elf players, the Dark Elf front line has basically won the fight, the infantry fight against the Wood Elf, because they are supported by just a whole bunch of Dark Shards that were doing massive amount of damage, as Malekith has been continually chasing off the Deepwood Scouts of the Wood Elf player. He's taken a lot of damage, but he has effectively kept a lot of these Deepwood Scouts out of the fight over here, which has allowed their melee force to win against the Wood Elves. But we still do have a flanking force of the Wood Elves, including Orion, who has taken a lot of damage, but he will be regenerating now that he's below 20% health. And also these Dragon Princes are not helping the situation out. You can see they've routed off some of the Dark Riders, but these units are going to come back from routing and still threaten, I think, the Princes after they come back from routing. Meanwhile, I'm still just kind of cleaning out the High Elf player. There's not much this force can do against my Skaven. We just shut down all their Loth and Seaguard. We shut down their artillery with our Doom Wheels. The front line just got overwhelmed. There's really nothing they could do, and now our Warlord and other units just kind of finishing off the Noble right now. Because I knew I didn't have to worry about the Dragon Princes, because I saw them way over here. So I was like, well, now we just charge in a Storm Vermin, and we just kind of rout them off. So basically, this part of the High Elf force is gone. I am eventually going to be gathering up my forces around here to make a push to the rest of the battlefield, which there is still a battle raging. Again, the Dragon Princes are not dead. They are still very healthy, and they're just going to be coming down here just wrecking havoc amongst the Wood Elf and Dark Elf player alike. They are not going to take sides in this. They're going to just charge anything that they can get to try and get a lot of points. Back here, you can see the Deepwood Scouts have all kind of gathered up on these Blackguards of Nagaron to charge them, so they have just been pierced down, excuse me, by a bunch of just missile fire from the Deepwood Scouts as they just get kind of kited around. Also, there is that Glade Guard that has the Starfire shaft somewhere around here still. I'm not entirely sure where they are. Are they dead? Maybe they're dead. I don't know. But anyway, those Blackguard of Nagaron just kind of got pulled out of formation, and they just got kited, and now they are now dead. So right here, I am now seeing a bunch of Dark Shards kind of gathering up on the hill here to try and get a nice flanking fire on all these Deepwood Scouts. So I'm like, well, let's just send the Doom Wheels over there. So we're going to send the Doom Wheels over there ahead of the main force of Skaven, which is still just going to be gathering right here and then pushing as a major force. Back here, the Dragon Princess and Teclis are now still roaming strong. They have routed off some of the War Dancers. They routed off, I believe, a Deepwood Scout or one of the Glade Guards, I think, that were also positioned over here. And they are also routing those Treekin, as you can see right there, and did a lot of damage to those Dark Riders who are now kind of just hiding right here in the forest. They will come back out and start doing some more damage. There go our Doom Wheels, already routing 2 of the Dark Shards that were just kind of positioned right here. So we're just going to try and rout all these Dark Shards because I need to kill these because they are armor piercing. And a lot of my army, my elite army, is kind of susceptible to armor piercing damage. All those Storm Vermin. And the thing is, like, the Storm Vermin with swords and shields, they cost so much, and they don't even have the good shields. They have, like, the bad shields. The one that blocks, is it 30 or 15, 30, 20%? I don't know. It's the bat shields. There goes Malekith, because he just took too many arrows, but he did a really good job at keeping all of these archers busy for a long time, allowing their front line to win. The problem is now with Malekith totally gone, that severely weakens the Dark Elf players' position here in the remainder of the battle. And here come a bunch of Dragon Princes that are now finished with the Wood Elves that were positioned over here. And there's still all 4 of them. Teclis is still alive, and now they're going to start wreaking havoc still on, again, the Wood Elves, and also, I think they charge into the Hargoneth Executioners at some point, too. Meanwhile, my Doom Wheels are also still out there causing havoc. My Warlord is chasing off some of these Dark Shards that did come back from routing. So both the Wood Elf and the Dark Elf are just kind of getting it from the High Elf and me, and we're kind of ignoring each other. Like, I'm not going to run our Doom Wheels into these Dragon Princes. In fact, I'm trying to run them out, because I'm thinking that the Dragon Princes are wanting to try and surround my Doom Wheels and destroy them. So I'm like, nah, I'm good. So we're going to run out of here, let the Dragon Princes kind of run havoc across what remains of the 2 other players, and we're going to get the Doom Wheel back over here. We're going to pull our Warlord out, and I think I may send one of the Doom Wheels again over here to reroute one of these Dark Shards. But my army is slowly making its way across this map to try and kill what is left of everybody else. Dragon Princes are doing a lot of good damage down here. They have done repeating charges on the Hargoneth Executioners. You can see they're on the edge of routing. I think there they go. They are now going to rout because they are surrounded by a bunch of Dragon Princes. I'm getting my Doom Wheel out of there. But I did get a couple good shots on the Dragon Princes, which is, I think, actually what I'm doing right here. I forgot. I positioned the Doom Wheel nearby the Dragon Princes to try and hit it with the Zap Cannon. Because you can't really target what the Zap Cannon hits. It just is kind of random, whatever unit is around it. So I wanted to try and do some damage to those Dragon Princes, and you see that they are now going to pull out of this fight entirely, because my army is now right down here and ready to go. Death Globe Bombardiers ready to throw their bombs. I think the Dark Shards have been rerouted at this point. Yes, our second Doom Wheel rerouted that group of Dark Shards, so we do not have to worry about those. And there's not much left of the Wood Elves and the Dark Elves besides what is now happening over here on the opposite side of the battlefield. The Dark Riders now being chased by the 2 Treekin that are still alive. Orion is still alive, but still barely kind of holding in there and regenerating, or should be. I guess that's 20% of his current life, or else he would still be regenerating. I can't remember what I'm pulling back for. Maybe it's because I saw the Dark Riders. I don't remember pulling back my army, but I guess I do. This battle was actually played about a week ago or so my memory is a little fuzzy. But our Doom Wheel's still active here, rounding off some Glade Guard. They're with the Starfire Shaft Glade Guard, and they're now no more. The Starfire Shafts are armor piercing, so we wanted to get those off the battlefield as well. Dragon Prince is still really healthy. Teclis still really healthy, so this is a major concern, but at the same time, we still have 3 Halberd Storm Vermin, we still have Rat Ogres, we still have everything. We have our Death Globe, I keep calling them Death Globe Bombardier still active, so I'm like, you know what? I'm ready. We have the mobility, but we have just so many numbers and anti-armor in our army that is left, so I'm not super worried. Going to be pulling the second Doom Wheel back over here soon. Chain Lightning Cast from Teclis there, trying to dodge his damage. Dark Rider still continuing with what remains of the Wood Elves over there. They're not really threatening my backside right now. And then here comes one of the Dragon Princes on one of our flanks. They're going to charge right into a Storm Vermin with Halberds, which they are kind of set for this engagement. And you see Teclis is going to cast his second Phoenix ability here, doing a lot of good damage to this Storm Vermin. I tried to pull out the other Storm Vermin so they wouldn't get as much damage. They got hit a little bit, but I was kind of in time to negate most of that damage. So here comes our Warlord. Here comes everything. We're trying to pin all of these Dragon Princes in place. We're going to be using our Doom Wheels to try and pin them in place too, because I believe the Dragon Prince is going to try and retreat here soon to try to mount up another charge. For some reason, I wasn't moving my Death Globe Bombardiers right here. I think because I was too busy micromanaging my Doom Wheels, maybe. I can't remember. There they come. They're now coming to join the fray. But here's when the Dragon Princes and Teclis are going to try and retreat, so I'm going to just try and run our Warlord in there, trying to catch up with any of one of our Rat Ogres. Anything that can keep them pinned in place, I'm now going to try and throw at them so we can then catch up with the rest of our Storm Vermin force and the Death Globe Bombardiers. Meanwhile, back here, I believe the rest of the Wood Elf forces have been routed for the most part. Yes, they have been rerouted for by the Dark Riders of the Dark Elves. I think this is the only force that remains of the Dark Elves, by the way. It's just those Dark Riders. Oh, there's Orion. Okay, sorry. I thought Orion was over there. So Orion pulled back over here and is now going to get charged by Teclis and the Dragon Princes. But you can see I am not letting the Dragon Princes go. We're actually going to start summoning the Clan Rats. I think this may be my first Clan Rat summon that I've used in the battle. And that was just used to pin these Dragon Princes in place. Using our Doom Wheel to try and pin these units in place, letting our Storm Vermin catch up. Doing whatever we can to do damage to the Dragon Princes as they try and continually withdraw from our forces. Not much they can really do here, though. And apparently I have a Storm Vermin attacking some Deepwood Scouts over there. So there we go. Teclis is going to be routing. I think he comes back. I want to say he comes back. And now we're into what remains of the Wood Elves. Yeah, there he goes. So Teclis does come back for one last charge. Now my concern is going to be Orion trying to bring him down. He is unbreakable, so we're going to have to actually kill him. What remains of the Dragon Princes are just being torn to pieces by the Rat Ogres and whatever unit else that can catch them. And now we're on the Wood Elf leadership over here. And also, I think I'm going to be devoting a lot of units to try and catch Teclis. I think is what I do here. Teclis, I think, is going to start running around, trying to evade my forces. I think this is going to be a Vermintide. Yeah, so I'm summoning a Vermintide just to try and catch Teclis. I think I'm going to run my Doom Wheel into Teclis at some point, and my Warlord as well. Yep, and there goes my Doom Wheels. I'm doing whatever I can to try and pin him in place so we can finish him off. Because you can see he is healing using that potion of Chiroy. The Dark Riders are still alive, but they have used all of their ammunition in killing the Wood Elves, so they are just now very, very light cav and not very scary. Another Chain Lightning cast from Teclis, who we have now caught, hitting him with the bombs, which are also doing friendly fire damage, but that's okay, because we are basically at the end of the game. Rerouting Teclis for, I believe this is the last time he gets routed. And again, I don't really need to worry about Dark Riders without their ammo. And that is going to be a GG. We route Teclis off the field, we're routing the Spell Singer, and now we just got to kill Orion. But there's not much he can do at this point. And there we go, an heroic victory for the elite Skaven Horde. So good game to Mr. Schlong, Jim, Kirk, and Howell. Pretty proud of the army. I did not expect much from the Storm Vermin with Sword and Shield. They did do some damage. They tanked a lot, I guess. I don't think they're worth the price. I wish these were maybe at least 50 cheaper, I think, to be really worth it. Hell, maybe even 100. I don't know. I mean, the Skaven are not really supposed to have any crazy, like, Phoenix Guard units anyway, so I just wish they were maybe a little cheaper. But yeah, I think the army did really well. Rat Ogres, the Doom Wheels just did insane. The Plague Monk Sensor Bearers did so much damage because they are really brutal if you don't take them down with, like, ranged units first before they get into the melee. For Mr. Schlong here, Orion netting almost 100 kills. Orion is a scary foe. Very, very scary individual. The Deepwood Scouts did a lot of damage to the Dark Rider Cav initially, and then did a lot of damage to the infantry line, and especially Malekith of the Dark Elves, but they could not win the game for them, although they did most of the damage. The Wild Riders, I don't remember what they initially charged, but I believe they got finished off by the Dragon Princes of the High Elf. They probably were not expecting 4 Dragon Princes to be in their fight, considering the High Elf infantry was in a fight with mine. For Jim Kirk here, Malekith still did net a lot of kills against those Deepwood Scouts. Their ranged units did help win the tide against the Wood Elf infantry. And also the Blackheart Corsairs are really good at killing the Wood Elf infantry line because there is no real tanky unit for the Wood Elves in terms of very high armor. So the bonus versus infantry that the Blackheart Corsairs have, they are kind of designed to kill units like the Wood Elf infantry. But besides that, the Reaper Bolt Throwers, maybe those are the ones that got killed by the initial charge of the Wild Riders, now that I think about it. But still, Malekith did really well. And then for the High Elf player, Teclis netted 87 kills, which is no small thing. Their Dragon Princes did insanely well in that battle. Unfortunately, I just kind of overwhelmed their other half of their force. But they also kind of left them there. But I don't know. Like, they could have still tried to charge into Storm Vermin who were waiting in the forest, but that's a really bad idea. The only other thing they could have done is just did a reverse and then charged my front line through their front line, which the front line was still being fought in the forest besides, except for my Doom Wheels. But, I don't know. In any case, it was still a good battle. So, hope you enjoyed, everybody, and let's watch the cinematic view. So, yeah, some of these Dark Riders got hit hard from these Deepwood Scouts. And they're like malnourished horses that just look upsetting. Are you loyal to Clan, everybody?
Scurry! Mighty!
You see the little flags of the doom wheels going? Skaven's so cool.
Advance retreat.
These Dragon Princes did a lot of work. Of course, they're not doing anything now that I'm actually looking at them.
Our tail's yours. Die, die, die. Yes, master. Scurry. Murder, kill, kill. Great, great.
Doom wheel's coming for you.
Forward and backwards. Advance retreat.
And they were like, nope, that's halberds. Nope.
Stay snap. Forward and backwards. Comply agree. Now you'll all obey. Right, mighty. Fast and scurry. Then die. Nash, kill. Over here. Quickly go. Over here. This way. Fight, sink. Moving. Yes, master. Scurry. Crit like a car. Forward and backwards. Move.
And I believe that's when they run away.
Comply agree.
And then these Shrieky, and they just get kited. Like, what are they supposed to do? Those Dark Elves are on horses. I really do like this map too. It's just, it's beautiful. All the elf structures all around.
I agree. Onward, foe. I said, hurry. Fight, attack. Scurry. Yeah, fight, sink. Get to that end. Spring the cattle grand! I Faster, scurry! Die! They obey! Attack! Hurry! Faster! Scamper, scurry! Yes. Fight, attack! Murder, kill! Binoculars!
Look at that leap distance. God.
Snake! Comply, agree! Just move! Reiki shriek!
They say Reiki Shriek? I love this Skaven.
This way!
What orders? I just love the way they talk.
Die! Forward, backwards! Land advance! Scream Reika Mothra!
And I'm pretty sure Orion is still considered a large creature, so Halberd Infantry does have a bonus versus him. Unless that was changed in Warhammer 2, and I don't know yet. But in Warhammer 1, he was considered a large creature. Which is kind of a bad thing. It's not usually a good thing to be a large creature.
Shrinky shrink! Move, move! Moving! Land advance!
Especially if you're a lord. It's just like in my practice, people seem to bring more anti-large units than they do like anti-infantry. That's why I say it that way.
March retreat! Underground! Quick, I'm a cop!
Oh, there's a chain lightning spell going on back here.
Stay stopped!
And here comes that Dark Rider charge.
So be it! At once! Onward, fool! March, scurry, gas!
Tightly packed cav getting blown up.
Time to scurry! Win! On! We serve! Land!
And there we go. Orion falls, the last to fall in the battle. Hope you enjoyed the battle, everybody, and I will see you all in the next one.